Luffy, Sanji, and Yosaku set sail for Arlong Park on a small boat. Following the events of the Barati arc, Sanji expresses skepticism about Nami's intentions, prompting Yosaku to recount how he noticed Nami's suspicious behavior when she showed interest in Arlong's wanted poster. Meanwhile, Nami arrives in the Going Merry. A young boy confronts her, seeking vengeance for the death of his father at the hands of Arlong. Nami slaps him, giving him money to leave. Zoro, Usopp, and Johnny also arrive on the island, with Usopp and Johnny tying up Zoro to prevent him from immediately engaging with the fishmen. They are soon spotted, abandoning the ship and leaving Zoro to be captured by them. They end up in Gosa village, where they witness the devastation wrought by Arlong's crew, with houses destroyed and villagers living in fear. As they try to evade capture, Usopp is mistaken for a fishman and attacked by the same boy from earlier. A woman intervenes, revealing herself as Nojiko, Nami's foster sister. Meanwhile, Luffy, Sanji, and Yosaku continue their journey, encountering a giant sea cow attracted to their food. Luffy swiftly defeats it with a single kick, and they cleverly tie their boat to the sea cow, using it to reach the island. Usopp awakens in Nojiko's house, where she explains that Nami is part of Arlong's crew, shocking him. At Arlong Park, Zoro learns about Nami's loyalty when Arlong boasts about how she would betray even her family for riches. In a moment of desperation, Zoro jumps into the water to test her allegiance. Nami saves him, but beats him to maintain the loyalty to Arlong. Arlong then confronts Genzo, the sheriff, demanding a monthly tribute from the villagers in exchange for their lives. Usopp, witnessing this, intervenes to save Genzo, but he is chased away by Arlong's crew. Nami returns to the village, met with hostility from the villagers who view her as a traitor, except for Nojiko and Genzo, who understand her predicament. Later, the sisters visit the grave of their adoptive mother, Belle-Mère. Back at Arlong Park, Zoro breaks free, having defeated several fishmen with Nami's help, who discreetly cuts his bonds. He encounters Hachi, who mistakenly believes Zoro is a corrupt marine. After overhearing villagers discussing Usopp's fight against the fishmen, Zoro rushes back to save him, but it's too late. Usopp is captured. Nami arrives and threatens to kill Usopp herself to convince the fishmen of her loyalty. Usopp, confused and desperate, tries to escape with a smoke bomb, but is intercepted. Nami stabs her hand instead of him, convincing Arlong of her loyalty, while Johnny looks on in horror. Finally, Luffy, Sanji, and Yosaku arrive on the island and reunite with Zoro. Nami insists they leave, claiming her partnership with them was only for treasure. However, Usopp, still alive and having only fainted from Nami's attack, reveals the truth about her actions. Nojiko joins them, recounting Nami's tragic backstory where she and Nojiko lived happily with their adoptive mother, Belle-Mère, until Arlong's arrival. Belle-Mère, a former Marine, had left her life of service to raise the two girls. One day, the peace of their lives is shattered by the arrival of Arlong and his crew. Arlong demands a tribute from the villagers. 100,000 berries per adult and 50,000 berries per child. Belle-Mère understands that they can't pay the full amount. Determined to protect her daughters, she devises a plan. She decides to hide the girls in a secret place and confront Arlong herself. She declares that she can only pay 100,000 berries, explaining that her daughters are hiding and that she would do anything to protect them. Arlong, seeing her desperation and the potential for manipulation, agrees to her terms, but only if she sacrifices her life. Nami and Nojiko watch helplessly as Belle-Mère tries to bargain for their safety. With tears in her eyes, Belle-Mère assures them she loves them and that they must live on, no matter what happens. Arlong coldly accepts Belle-Mère's offer and, without hesitation, shoots her in front of the girls. Nami and Nojiko, heartbroken and terrified, are left to grapple with the trauma of witnessing their mother's murder. Arlong takes Nami, believing her cartography skills would be useful for his crew, while Nojiko is left behind, consumed by grief and rage. This moment impacts Nami, who later made a deal with Arlong to buy back their village for 100 million berries. As tensions rise, Marine forces led by Captain Nezumi arrive on the island, accusing Nami of harboring illegal funds. Despite her attempts to protect the money meant for repurchasing the village, the Marines seize it, and Nojiko is shot while trying to defend her sister. In a furious confrontation, Nami accuses Arlong of betraying her trust, but he dismisses her claims, stating she must start over if she wants her village back. Overwhelmed with despair, Nami stabs herself in the arm where Arlong's tattoo is. However, Luffy intervenes, stopping her self-destructive act. At this pivotal moment, Nami finally asks Luffy for help. He places his straw hat on her head, signifying his support, and they prepare to confront Arlong together, rallying for the freedom of Kokoyashi village. Moments later, the Straw Hat crew arrives, and Luffy wastes no time. He breaks down the door and punches Arlong, enraged that he made Nami cry. The rest of the fishmen join the battle alongside Mamu, the sea cow. However, Luffy quickly neutralizes them by grabbing Mamu and spinning him around like a pinwheel with his rubber abilities, knocking out several enemies. In the chaos, Luffy's feet get stuck in the ground, an opportunity Arlong exploits. Uprooting the gravel, Arlong hurls Luffy into the ocean, making it a game for the Straw Hats. The crew must defeat the fishmen to save their captain. Despite his severe wounds and fever from his earlier fight with Mihawk, Zoro steps up to face Hachi, the fishman wielding 6 swords. Hachi's 6-sword style is overwhelming, with multiple blades coming at Zoro from different angles. Zoro eventually pushes through his pain, gradually gaining the upper hand. Hachi swings all 6 blades in a final desperate attack, but Zoro deflects them with his own 3-sword technique, landing a decisive blow that takes Hachi down. Sanji takes on Kurubi, the fishman karate master. The battle becomes even more dangerous when Kurubi drags Sanji underwater, where fishmen naturally hold the advantage. Sanji drives a powerful kick into Kurubi, launching him back to the surface. Once on dry land, the fight becomes one-sided. Sanji unleashes a flurry of brutal kicks, eventually shattering Kurubi's chest plate and sending him crashing into the ground, defeated. Meanwhile, Usopp faces off against Chu, initially pretending to be defeated to avoid the fight. However, when he remembers the others are fighting for Nami's sake, Usopp gains the courage to engage Chu directly. Using his wits, Usopp douses Chu in alcohol and lights him on fire before repeatedly hitting him with his hammer, ultimately knocking him out. During the chaos, Nami arrives and rallies the villagers, finally siding with her crew. As she fights, Nojiko and Genzo revive Luffy. Once freed from the rocks binding his legs thanks to Sanji, Luffy is ready for his final confrontation with Arlong. Luffy and Arlong trade heavy blows, each attack shaking the foundation of Arlong Park. As the fight intensifies, Arlong forces Luffy into the tower, where he reveals the room where Nami was forced to draw maps for him. This enrages Luffy, and he begins destroying the room. Arlong tries to stop him but is overpowered. With one final blow, Luffy smashes through the tower, sending Arlong crashing down and destroying the park. With Arlong defeated, the villagers are free. Emerging from the wreckage, Luffy declares, "Nami, you are my friend." Nami, overwhelmed with joy, agrees. The celebration is short-lived as Nezumi, a corrupt marine, arrives to steal Arlong's treasure. However, the Straw Hats quickly deal with him, sending him packing. In the aftermath, the villagers throw a grand celebration for their heroes. Luffy finds Genzo at Belmare's grave, where Genzo makes Luffy promise never to take Nami's smile away. As the crew prepares to leave, Nami rushes to the ship, revealing that she stole all the villagers' wallets on her way. Though the villagers yell in disbelief, they fondly wave goodbye to their hero. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to stay updated with the next arc. Thanks for watching.